So a new study from Global Strategy Group finds most Americans, regardless of political leaning, believe that companies should weigh in on political issues, despite the fact that advertisements like Nike's featuring Colin Kaepernick and Gillette's "The Best a Man Can Be" ad sparked backlash among certain Americans. So how should companies navigate a complicated political environment? Let's bring in Julie Hootkin, who's the partner at Global Strategy Group and the author of this study, to discuss it. It's kind of surprising that you hear consumers saying, yeah, I want companies to take a stand. But what is it? They want to know where the companies they shop stand?
Yeah, I think that's right. Look, I think what we're seeing is tremendous amount of activism. You saw it at Women's March. You saw it Black Lives Matter, March for Our Lives. You also saw people turn out to the polls, right? Consumers are extremely hungry for a level of activism that we haven't seen. And they're looking for companies to fill a role that they fundamentally believe that the government isn't really filling.
For Democrats, the top boycott targets are Chick-fil-A and Hobby Lobby. The top boycott targets for Republicans are Nike and Target. If you're trying to appeal to the most people possible because you want them to buy your product, how does it make sense, or how do you come up with a strategy to successfully navigate a very divisive political environment?
Yeah, look, I don't know that the goal for everyone is to appeal to as many people as possible. And I come out of the political consulting world and think about it a lot in the same way that we approach a political campaign, right? So you have people who are your core customers. You have people who maybe always buy Adidas and never buy Nike. And then you've got some group of folks in the middle who might be open to you if you can sort of connect with them in a particular way.
I'm amazed at the level of support in this report, Julie. 80% agree that the companies should be taking action, that it's that high.
Yeah.
Who are the people surveyed? How many people, and what kind of demographics are they from?
Yeah, so they're Americans nationwide. We surveyed just over 800 folks, and they're representative of Americans across the country. I think the interesting thing is both that there are, 80-some-odd% of the Americans who say companies should take a stand. Over a third feel that way strongly. So there's some intensity behind that. I think even more remarkable is that it's not just that they should do something, but they fundamentally believe that companies can help drive change.
One of the interesting results I saw in terms of the perception of companies being more Republican, the big banks are there, as well as Nordstrom.
Yeah.
And it seems to me that seems to be an association with money, as opposed to any effort by these companies to portray one or the other. Is there a way you can kind of correct for that if a company doesn't really want to be seen a certain way?
Yeah, I think that's right. Look, we are living in a very polarized world. People reflexively assign ideology to companies. They sort of reflexively support or oppose an issue based on whether or not they believe it is a Democratic issue or a Republican issue. I think what is interesting and what we've seen is that companies actually have a lot of leeway on the issues they step out on. Just because JP Chase is perceived as a Republican company doesn't mean they haven't stepped out on issues that are perceived as more moderate or more Democratic. I think what we have found is that it is how companies articulate their motivation and the rationale for taking the position that they're actually taking.
Julie, thanks for joining us. Julie Hootkin discussing the report she authored, Global Strategy Group partner.